welcome back to my Star Wars Marathon reviews, and now I'm trying to get all these videos done before May 18th, since I have to see Han Solo at that point, so I'm going to try and get all these videos out before then. So, so now that we finished 4 movies, we finished all the prequel movies, let's go into the original trilogy, starting with A New Hope. Now, many people like to say this is the best, or the second best of the original trilogy. Well, see, I think this is the weakest out of the original trilogy. Now, hold on. That doesn't make it bad. Like I said, I like all the Star Wars movies, not counting the holiday special. That movie never happened. That movie never existed. Let's just pretend that movie was a thing that never happened. So, what do I think of A New Hope? Well, let's go down the plot summary. So, pretty much the movie is about a boy named Luke Skywalker who was raised on sand. I hate sand. It's rough, it's coarse, it's irritating, and it gets everywhere. Oh, hey, it proves that all the Skywalkers were raised on sand, so I guess there's a reason why Darth Vader never found where Luke was, since it was on a planet filled with sand. Sorry, I love using that joke, but still. Wait, let me just adjust it a little bit. Yeah, there. So, it's about, pretty much, the Galactic Republic the rebellion finally gets the Star Wars, the plans to the Death Star, and they try to stop it by a droid named R2-D2, and they give it off to Princess Leia, played by the late great Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. You were the greatest princess who ever lived. Screw all the rest. Just saying. Now, and it lands on the farm boy, who later, after the death of their parents, because let's face it, every main character has to have a dead parent, they have to set off on their journey to stop the Galactic Empire. And they meet a ragtag team rebels and a wise old man. So, what are my thoughts on the movie now? To me, at least, I think this is a damn good movie. It has a very simple plot. Boy grows up on a moisture farm and is destined to stop this galactic empire. Now, I did have some problems in the movie, and I don't want to sound offensive, but Carrie Fisher's acting in this movie isn't as good as the ones in the rest of the movie. Now, not the rest of the series. Now, I'm not saying Carrie Fisher is bad. Carrie Fisher was a great actress, and may she rest in peace. But I get this is the first movie, so not all the acting will be perfect. Sometimes she just sounds like she's a little bit British, like they're asking for more kind of British. Like the whole, I smell your foul stench from across the room. And Alec Guinness, I do like him as Obi-Wan. He does play more of a wise old man sort of way, but I do think that Ewan McGregor is farly superior to him. In a lot of ways, and it's like, why didn't he just tell Luke that, Darth Vader was his dad, and that Leia was his sister? And speaking of Luke, let's talk about him now. Mark Hamill is a very famous actor. He's one of my favorite actors. He mainly plays 2 characters that we all know and love. Now, don't worry, he does play other characters, but his most famous roles are that of Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars trilogy, Star Wars franchise, and of course the Joker from Batman. And I can't decide which performance I prefer more, so comment down below which performance you prefer Mark Hamill as. Here he does an okay job, I'd say. Sometimes he sounds a little too whiny, like Anakin from the original trilogy, but he is actually really good. And that scene where he finds Uncle Ben, there can only be one Uncle Ben, and Aunt Beru. He does a really good job of being angry, and sometimes he does get a laugh at me like this. Hey, I can fly this pilot better than anything. And of course, let's talk about my favorite character in this movie, Han Solo. I'm shooting like stars, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm Solo, Han Solo, Han Solo, Solo. So I just love that. Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. He is great in this movie. He has great interaction with Chewbacca, and every scene he's in is great. The best actor by far in this movie is easily, without a doubt, James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. I can do an impression of him right now. Oh no. Obi-Wan never told you who your... I think it would be better if I had a cup like this. Obi-Wan never told you who your father was. I am your father. I can do a much better impression. And I can do a good impression, but not right now. He is just a really good actor. He plays as this menacing threat. I don't know why like he tried to choke like pretty much he was trying to get like in the first beginning of the movie when he was like trying to get answers out of this guy. Like he picked this rebel guy up. Why did you feel like a good idea to kill him? You wanted answers, so why do you have to feel like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill him even though like you need answers from him? Totally makes sense, people. But still, James Earl Jones is easily the best actor in this movie. He is really good, and that voice is just amazing. But let's cover some of the negatives I do have this movie. For one, like the lightsaber fight, I know like the Star Wars movies aren't all about the lightsaber fights; they're about the characters and stuff. Don't get me wrong. For the characters half, it is really good. Especially like here's I think what they should have done with that scene. Obi-Wan, last time we met, you were the master and I was the apprentice. Now I am the master. And Obi-Wan should have said this. No, last time we met I left you in a volcano of lava and death and I left you to burn to death. Well, that is just harsh. I know. That would have been hilarious in my opinion. But the lightsaber duel fight is just this. Just in like tapping swords together. I think it would have been better, like to me at least, this is a good duel with the whole characters. But in terms of actual fighting, I know this is the first lightsaber we got, but it wasn't very good to me. Another problem I do have with the movie, don't get me wrong, the action in the movie is really good, especially in that final fight scene where like this. Red 1, standing by, Red 2, standing by, Red 3, standing by. Alright. Sorry, it's something in my throat. I'll wash it out. I need to get warm, but still. So, I do like the characters in the movie, but they barely do, and some of them don't really get that much development. And also, I'm just going to say this right now. The movie starts out in space. What? I mean, I kind of had to do that for a joke. Seriously, it's kind of hard not to do that joke when I talk about Star Wars. But I do think this is a really fantastic movie. I do like the characters. They barely any of them do get some development. Like we barely know some of them. And I do think that's why we're getting the Han Solo movie to explain how him and Chewie met. Like people complain how in like Rogue One, we don't know how Base and Chirrut met, even though they do mention it once, I believe, where they said they were guardians of wills on Jedha. So yeah, I think that's yeah. Overall, I do think this is a really good movie. I don't think this is the best Star Wars movie ever made, but I do see why people say it is a classic of cinema. And if it weren't for this movie, we wouldn't have an Empire Strikes Back, which we'll get to next time, which is probably my favorite movie of all time. It is such an amazing movie, and I'll explain why I love it so much. Also, I watched the special editions of these movies. I don't know why, but yeah, I was born in 2004, and the only ones I had were the special edition copies. So I had to sit through stuff like CG, Jabba the Hutt, and other things. But that being said, what is my final rating for this movie? A 9.3 out of 10, the same rating I gave Rogue One. I can't decide if I prefer this movie over Rogue One. They're both tied a little bit. So, what is the ranking for the Star Wars movie so far? Number 1 is Revenge of the Sith. Number 2 is A New Hope. Number 3 is Rogue One. Number 4 is Phantom Menace. Number 5 is, of course, Attack of Clones. So join me next time as we take a look at probably my favorite movie of all time, Empire Strikes Back. See you then.